A cool operation I'll give the for is what I call simple, but it requires a bit of effort here. So, since this condition is very embarrassing that I have literally not yet found a friend group in my entire sophomore year, even with the good effort that I gave, with some tweaked ideas and approaches next year for friend groups that I will approach, I'll use that later on and I'll discuss that later in future videos. But for this specific operation, I'm going to title this Operation Dayfall. That means for the next 2 direct straight weeks of the first days of school, for 10 days technically, I am going to painfully wake up and enter school very early around 7:20 a.m. in the morning or even earlier for too many reasons. But our goal here is to talk to random people, to break my social thing, and most importantly, find a core friend group to stick with, one that's there to be with. And in general, we just talk to get to know other people. That's what I need to understand. The next goal that comes with this is for the next 6 periods for my classes, for every class that I'll have, I need to find at least one person to talk to, stick with. Because one day I'm going to be presented in those classes. One day there's going to be embarrassing moments in those classes. Things are going to happen. And we'll need each other's hearts to lean back on, right? Not as a relationship, but as support. The first part of this operation will be done during the student ID collection. This is a pre-operation part, I'd say, as people are in line weeks before school to get their stuff and get their ID for the year. Our goal here is to get to know people in general and build that social momentum so that once the actual school week starts, done during classes and during the lunch period later. I do this early right now because according to, well, plate tectonics and sociality, not many people would have technically been in the same friend groups last year, so to speak. So to go with the flow, with the social establishment that I've been talking about earlier, I say that we should be a part of the establishment before now, so to speak, like that. I know this might be intimidating just to talk to random people and stage it as a cool operation, but to someone like me who is twice as shy, I require a lot more effort consciously compared to people who are socially more fluid, so to speak. In baseball metaphor, we are back in season. The first official at-bat and pitch starts in 15 hours and less than 43 minutes. But in show metaphor, season 3 of high school is coming up soon. Some characters last year may have completely gone to other classes. We'll be ready for next season. Of course, for 50% or more of people who will be afraid during the first day, be included too, guys. But last season is over. Friends may have carried over or not. It really generally depends on who, but one should prepare because the journey will be more or less difficult. Now for the shenanigans of this operation, we're gonna go into like end credit scene of this one. Guys, one of my diehard Star Wars fans requested me to do a Clone Wars style monologue for the season 3 first day of school. So for my story, literally too, and reflection, here it is. So everyone else's monologue may be different for their own season's trailer in this metaphor, but the quote that I would choose for the first day's episode would be: "Embrace others for their differences, for that makes one whole." And friend groups unite and dissolve as the cogs of school start again, as sociality rages on across the entire school network, across many places. Everyone's own agenda strives for their own goals, social acceptance, prospects, and their own, against their own negatives, and maybe even people. The arrival of a new school year, with people being shuffled around to new classes, offers all to continue on their own journey. A fresh chance to try again socially if one failed, or a continuation for others on their journey if they are beyond that. For the story of me, the story of Brown, bravery, social muscle, integrity, and more. A social currency of friendships, which it is, in person, and also exist in the digital space. Despite multiple failures to gridlocks last year, socially, to join many groups. From large groups who were established and kind but said no, to smaller groups who were more accepting but tended to be more closed off or had different goals in mind. Despite logical efforts, were not successful. And after being nearly caught in a deadly social game with the group detailed in reflection acts of the scare of a report, next year again offers a new chance. But all would remain steadfast in hopes of finding a social home or a social place in a fast moving school. Before friend groups and people in general legitimize and establish roots in an ever raging galaxy of people and life.